bottom line is, man, it's hard to break us now. It's hard to break us. As a matter of fact, you ain't going to do it.
Open look going as he answered. What a play called by Tom Izzo in that timeout.
I was 7 years old watching a football game by myself, and I saw those winged helmets come out of the tunnel, and I was hooked at that point.
Kane in Chicago. Oh, my God.
Kane with the overtime winner. Jameer Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
He drives, lobs to JD for a jam.
You play real good, you start. You don't play as good, you work your way back in. It's the American way, except America has gotten soft. But that is the American way. That's the way it works.
This is the 6'6" Kane coming in. Jameson Williams, he's got it. Touchdown, Lions. Now it's Larkin with a burst of speed. He scores. Gives the United States the lead for the first time tonight.
If the Red Wings only had the captain of the Carolina Hurricanes. No, let's not go that far. Welcome, everybody, on a Friday here on X's and Bros throughout the state of Michigan. I'm Matt Shepard, excited to chat with you about whatever might be on your mind in the world of sports. You can do that by calling the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. You can do that by texting us, Sports Radio 21000, or just join us in the chat as we stream live on X, YouTube, and on Facebook. I'm Matt Shepard. Andy McDonald is alongside. Yeah, Carolina doubled up Las Vegas 4-2 last night in Game 5. They grabbed their first lead in the Stanley Cup Finals. Evgeny Svechnikov scored a couple of power play goals. Jordan Staal scored his 6th goal of the series. He has scored in each of the first 5 games. Incredible. Scored a couple in Game 4, but scored again last night. Brandon Bussey, the Western Michigan grad, made 23 saves. There are some historical significant notes associated with both. We'll get to that coming up. Meanwhile, Vegas goalie Carter Hart has allowed 4 goals in each game of the series, the first goalie to ever do that in Stanley Cup Finals history. Bussey, in the meantime, is the first goaltender in NHL history to make his first 2 career playoff starts in the Stanley Cup Finals and win both games. More on Jordan Staal here in a moment. Let me tell you this. I'm sure you watched part of it, or at least saw a lot of the highlights. No problem for the Tigers yesterday, winning their 3rd straight series. They blow out the Twins 11-zip. The Tigers bang out 13 hits, 8 of them for extra base knocks, including 6 homers. One by Cole Keith, his first of the season. Cutter Montero earned his 3rd win. He allowed just 4 hits through 6 1/3. Detroit now hits the road for 6 in a row in Cleveland and in Houston. How significant is that? We ask you that as part of our Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question that's coming up. Tarek Skubal is back. He's going to be on the bump Saturday in Cleveland. He made just 1 rehab start. He's been out since April 29th. Casey Mize, in the meantime, is expected to return Sunday's game against the Guardians. Meanwhile, Javier Baez has been transferred to the 60-day IL. The Tigers have claimed outfielder James Outman off waivers from Minnesota. He has no more, there's no more ability to send him down. So he's going to make this team. He's going to be on the 40-man. He'll be on this team. Had a phenomenal rookie year in 2023. He had a huge OPS, 23 bombs, 16 stolen bases. Since that season, he's hit just 144 with a 520 OPS. He went from a 790 OPS to a 520 OPS. That is it's
a big drop.
Is humbling.
Outman's a tough last name for a baseball player too. That's all I could think.
That's a great point. Yes. Outman. Yeah, you don't want that. Okay. If you're looking for some perspective and why he may have been released, and you're trying to figure out, well, what is it with the OPS? Well, I get what you're saying there. People are even though he went yard yesterday in a 2-run shot, Spencer Torkelson, his OPS is 717 this year, and you don't feel like he's having a very good year. Outman's OPS since that season in 2023 has been 520. Okay, let that resonate for just a moment. Meanwhile, Javier Baez, who knows what happens with him? Where does he go? What happens with, 60-day IL, make it retroactive. It's not like his season is over, okay? Tampa's Nikita Kucherov wins his second Hart Trophy Award, beating O'Connor McDavid by 10 points. That's the MVP of the NHL. Kucherov finished second in scoring with 130 points, led the league in points per game, and his plus 43 was third best in the league. He had 40 games, 40, with at least 2 points. Now, he plays on a better team. There's no question about it. He is one of the best players in the world. There's no doubt about that. But oftentimes in hockey, I suppose we do it to a certain extent in basketball now, but we're trying to figure out just how good a player is with their plus minus. And if you're wondering what plus minus is, it's if you're on the ice in a 5-on-5 situation, are you scoring? If you are, that's a plus, as in your unit. Yes, I said unit. Those 5 guys, if one of those guys scores, you're a plus. If one of those guys is on the ice, if one of you guys is on the ice when the other team scores, that's a minus. All right? Now you've got it down. He was third in the league in plus minus. You like that. In the words of Kirk Cousins, you like that. Nathan McKinnon was number 1 at 57. Nikita Kucherov, third at 43. For reference, and I'm not trying to paint a negative picture about one specific player, all right? But if you're looking for reference, Dylan Larkin was a plus 3. And I'm bringing up Dylan Larkin just because he's been in the news. They play different positions. Kucherov's a right wing. Dylan Larkin's a center. But I'm just trying to give you a perspective, okay? Game 5 of the NBA Finals is tomorrow in San Antonio with the Spurs needing to win to stay alive. Here's the Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question of the day. In the next 10 games, okay, Detroit is going to play Cleveland and Houston and the White Sox. You're going to play 3 against Houston, or 3 against Cleveland this weekend, starting tonight. They're going to play 3 at Houston, and then they're going to come home for a 4-game stand against the White Sox. Will that decide their season? Will the next 10 games decide the Tigers' season? I can tell you this. If they're not going to, but if they lost all 10, yeah, it'll decide their season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're buried. There's no way after that.
There's no question. You and I will be jumping off and we'll be talking strictly football. Well, maybe Scooble trade possibilities and maybe Red Wings trade possibilities. White Sox, by the way, remain in first place. All right. So just FYI, there you go. There's your poll question.
They've still been playing good too. So that's gonna be a series of the Tigers stay playing as well. But they gotta get through Cleveland first, that's for sure.
Well, you think Houston's been playing well?
No, not Houston. The White Sox. I think they've been playing.
Oh, the White
well
Sox.
still.
Yeah. I was going to say Houston has not been playing well. Yeah. The White Sox. This is how we caution everybody. And when you're looking at the American League, you and I do this all the time, and it's fair. Who's been the hottest team in baseball in the American League lately? If you're looking at 10-game runs, is that fair or is that unfair?
No, I like that 10 games.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, so the last 10, who's been that team? Who's been the team that's been the best?
Is it the White Sox?
Well, actually, no, it's been Texas.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So Texas has won 7 of their last 10. Okay. Nobody in the American League East has been better than 6-4, and that's the Yankees, and they've won 4 in a row. Okay, so they had lost 4 of 6, and then they roll them off. Okay, nobody in the AL Central has been better than actually the Tigers, who've won 7 of 10, and no one's been better than the Rangers in the AL West. They've won 7 of 10, the Texas Rangers, for what that's worth. So anyway, you can vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. I'll give you the results of the 8 o'clock hour. I too have retweeted that out. When we come back, would you, for a sport that you don't have any interest in or sport that you hate, would you do this scenario for money? We'll give you that when we come back on X's and Bros here on a Friday morning, brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth.
Farrah's Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Huge here for the incredible Crystal Mountain Resort in Thompsonville, Michigan. If you've never experienced the mountain, it's unbelievable. They offer up 36 holes of championship golf, Betsy Valley, Mountain Ridge, accommodations, a ton of choices. Go to crystalmountain.com, see everything for yourself. One of the top spas in America. They can handle businesses, small groups, big groups, your buddies, the ladies, and more. Book your getaway now at crystalmountain.com. That's crystalmountain.com.
Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, two world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sportsnet. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sportsnet Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at Tigers.com and MLB.com.
I think everybody knows it was a topic. I tried to hush it a little bit when I got asked about it, because it becomes sort of a downer for him. We believe in this guy. I put him up there all the time. I have him at the top of the order, the middle of the order, towards the bottom of the order. He's continuing to learn and grow, and then his reaction was just as priceless as the dugout. I think Glaber led the silent treatment, which he played into as well, and just a big lift to our club, but also just get it out of the way, in June. And who knows, this guy can rattle off a bunch. We saw it last year. Once he got his first, he got a bunch. And no better series than the next to continue that.
All right, AJ, here's what happens with the Tigers. That's AJ Hinch on Colt Keith, who homered for the first time yesterday. All right. Had a couple of hits, which is great, much needed. Scored a couple of runs. Batting average, for what it's worth, is up to 267 or so. The issue is we get you got to ask the question. It's fair. It's what people are going to want to know anyway. Okay. But what happens in baseball is you get caught up in the moment. He's working hard, all this other stuff, which is all cliches, and it's great, and it's true, and all these guys work hard on both sides. Okay. It's not like Minnesota's taking a bus from Birmingham at the last minute, showing up and just stepping into the box. Okay, those guys are there early too. They're all working hard. It's one of my biggest kind of pet peeves about interviews with parents who are watching their kid for the first time, which is glowing. It is. I can't even imagine watching your kid play at the highest level, knowing all the hours that they put in every single day of their lives and the sacrifices they made, because there are a ton. But just about every kid is doing that. So when you hear all the hard work he's put in, well, no kidding. I mean, the guy they just hit the home run off of puts in a lot of hard work too. All right. I'm saying for the most part, we're broad brush here. But here's the issue. Colt Keith, the question is about the home run, and great, he went 2 for 4, but he was 1 for his last 11. Not that that's a huge sample size, but he was 1 for his last 11. We talked about it. We briefly touched on it yesterday. Remember, Andy? We said, by the way, after the loss, you see where Colt Keith's numbers are. He was at 262.
Yeah, for sure.
Remember?
I think, a lot of people were kind of talking about him lately, how he just hasn't been doing much at all. Yeah,
exactly. So it's not like something's fixed, but on the other hand, you sure don't want to take it away from the guy, because the guy was really good. So good for him. And I've said this before. I think he's a good hitter. I don't think he's the second coming of Tony Gwynn, but I think he's a good hitter.
That's a cool idea from Glaber, like AJ said, to kind of lead that, because I think that's for one, you can tell they're having a lot more fun than they were in May right now.
Well, and there's no doubt about that.
And for two, just to be, you could tell Colt knew it was coming, and the smile he had when he hit that home run definitely felt like a weight was lifted off his shoulders. So hopefully it leads into some better production now. But
yeah, you said May. In May, the Tigers had a team slug of 309, which is horrendous. Okay. Only 4 teams in the last decade have had a worse slugging calendar month than the 2026 Tigers. In June, the Tigers have a 580 slug, which would be the highest single month slug by any team since 1930. That according to StatGen. Now, look, let's be careful. We got a long way to go in the month of June. If you were telling me at the end of May, Shep, there's a lot of games yet to be played, fair enough. You also have to grant me we're not even halfway through the month of June yet. And it's June 12th. So I'm not going to get too caught up in it, but it's an encouraging sign.
And again, these next 10 games hold some weight. So, I mean, I think we'll see where they're at.
Yeah. And just to put the team slug perspective, or put the team slug in June that they're on pace for, to put that in perspective, the Dodgers lead all of baseball in team slug at 443. Yankees lead the American League in that same category. All right. 443 for the Dodgers, 433 for the Yankees. And at this rate in June so far, the Tigers have a 580 slug. When people roll their eyes at me and say, Shep, you constantly talk about home runs and power and extra base hits and all that other stuff. I just want guys who can hit, be good hitters. Fair. On the other hand, it's worth noting that the slug is an important statistic. Dodgers, Yankees, Braves, Giants are top 4 in slug. And the Giants is because it's what they've done recently. They played pretty good ball lately. Okay? So there you go. Looking at that. Remember, I called this a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if people remember this. But now that you're going to get Scooble back Saturday, Mize on Sunday, I said, what you're going to see is you're going to see A.J. Hinch go to a 6-man rotation, and he should. So the 6-man rotation is going to be Scooble, in no particular order, Scooble and Mize. It's going to be Valdez. It's going to be Flaherty, Verlander, because he's due back. And then you've got Melton or Montero. Either one of them can either pitch or come out of the bullpen. It's a good problem to have. The weak link, Jack Flaherty, probably Justin Verlander. Then you would probably, the way Valdez has pitched, it hasn't been great so far, but it doesn't matter. I would probably bring Montero out of the bullpen. I really like Melton, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think Troy Melton stuff could play. I think you get to see what that turns into here. Montero's been great, but I don't know. I think the bullpen, he pitched out of the bullpen a little bit last year too. I'm sure he doesn't love that, but that it might just be the best option for the team right now. You got to get Scooble every 5th day. I feel
yes. Yeah. If you're wanting to do what you expect to do, absolutely. Now, Montero, I think he's been really good. I wouldn't say great, but his whip, what do you look at? What's the numbers you look at more than anything else?
Well, I don't know. I've always, as a starter, I guess if your ERA is good, you're doing something right. So that's.
Yeah. So his ERA is at a career low, 3.6.
And he's been doing great with that. But he's been pretty pitch to contact, right? Like a lot of fly balls, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's been the thing with him.
He's given up hits per 9. He's given up 7, and strikeouts per 9 is low. Now, I don't know if those are, that's why I ask you, what do you look at more than anything else? So I think you got to clarify that first. Melton has a much lower ERA, 2.8. His whip is a little lower, but it's still 1.0, which is what Montero is. And then you can get into he gives up 7 hits per 9, and the strikeouts per 9 are only at about 5, where Montero's at about 6. So we're probably splitting hairs here. Better ERA for Melton. He's 3-0, coming off a so-so start. 6 half dozen of the other. So it doesn't matter to me one way or the other. I just know, I figured it was going to be a 6-man rotation for this team, and I think that's a good thing. All right. Let me go back to the Stanley Cup Finals really quick. We had mentioned something for Jordan Staal, who's 37 years old. All right. What is he's scored at least 1 goal in every game of the Stanley Cup Finals. He has 6. There are 4 players in the history of the Stanley Cup Finals to score in each of the first 5 games of a Stanley Cup Final. That's pretty awesome. And Jordan Staal is the latest. We're talking about way back in the day. Cyclone Taylor. That was that dude's name.
That's insane.
I know. In 1918, he did it for Vancouver against the Arenas. No idea. No, absolutely clueless on that. Maurice Richard did it in 1951. He did it against the Maple Leafs. And he's one of the greatest players of all time. Jean Bellevue, one of the greatest players of all time, did it against the Red Wings in 1956. And now Jordan Staal, at the age of 37, has done it against the Vegas Golden Knights. It's an awesome story. And he's a hell of a player. And he seems like a hell of a leader.
Oh, he's had a great playoffs.
Yeah. Speaking of great players, I do want to get to this. It's a belated birthday to what I would consider one of the most clutch players. And I would say a guy who, when he's in the huddle, nobody Nobody exuded more confidence on his teammates than this guy. We'll get to that when we come back on X's and Bros. Glad you're with us on a Friday morning, brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth.
Dad, here's 3 reasons why we should go to the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give.
Okay.
1, you can spend Father's Day weekend with some real golfers.
Ouch.
2, it's a good time for a good cause. Foodie fun, family fun, and fun helping feed neighbors in need.
And 3.
3, do you really need another reason?
Join the fun June 18th through 21st at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Learn more and get tickets at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marx. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marx, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, Together, we can make a difference.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
5 after the hour. Real quick question. Who boasts the longest drive? Who leads the PGA in driving distance?
I mean, my first thought would have been Bryson DeChambeau, I guess, but
right, but he's not on the PGA Tour.
Oh, duh. Yeah. Okay.
So,
PGA.
My guess would have been Rory McIlroy.
Yeah. Heavy hitter.
It's Tony Finau. I didn't know that.
I would not have guessed him first.
So this is from the PGA Tour. You ready? His longest drives yesterday. It was the first round of the Canadian Open, the RBC Canadian Open. All right. Here were his longest drives: 377, 371, 341, 330, 329, 328, 328, 326.
It's not a bad day at the office. I wish I could set myself.
Yeah. He, by the way, he is tied for second with that. What's the cliche? Remember the cliche? Yeah, I know. The alarm goes off. What's the cliche? It's what? Drive for show.
Oh, yeah.
For dough,
yes.
right?
There's
Tony,
a lot of those. I was trying to think of which one, but yeah.
Yeah. So Tony Finau, even though he drives it like nobody's business, it's incredible. He is not in the lead at the RBC Canadian Open. So
wow,
that's So Heath Theegala is. He's tied with Emilio Grillo. They're both at 6 under with Eric Cole and Brooks Koepka and Sam Burns and Matthew Anderson. Those guys are all at 6 under. Finau, technically, I mean, with Sam Ryder, technically actually tied for 7th because you got 6 guys tied at 6 under. But he had the second lowest score. Okay, without trying to be too technical. Welcome back, X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. I was bummed that I missed this yesterday. Joe Montana turned 70 yesterday. The great Joe Montana. I think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. I know people will say Tom Brady. You've got the legitimate argument. You would probably beat me in an argument here. This is more from my perspective and my childhood. This is me wanting something probably more than willing to admit something, okay? But here's a guy who played 15 years, 192 games, threw for over 40,000 yards, threw 273 touchdown passes to 139 picks, had a quarterback rating of 92.3, rushed for 20 touchdowns, had 28 game-winning drives, 8-time Pro Bowler when Pro Bowling meant something, 5-time All-Pro, 2-time MVP, 4-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time Super Bowl MVP. He was named the 86 Comeback Player of the Year. He was named the 89 Offensive Player of the Year. Never, and I got caught up yesterday. I just finished dinner. I'm working on the show. Andy and I are working on the show late, and I'm watching the Stanley Cup Finals, and I get caught up on my computer. My wife's looking at me. She's like, you can never just do one thing at a time, can you? You always have to have the computer on. I said, look, there's a lot to go into a 3-hour show. I can't have Andy carry it like he always does every morning. I gotta add something here.
Get out here.
So I got caught up in a 30-minute video of Joe Montana, even though I've seen them all.
But it happens to everybody. You start watching a video about something you're interested in, like you get into it. You're into it. You're not going to stop watching it,
especially if it's on somebody you greatly respect.
Right? Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
You're into
so
it.
So they go through his career to a certain extent, how good he was in San Francisco, how he had to learn under Steve DeBerg, get involved in the offensive play calling a little bit with Bill Walsh. I almost said Joe Walsh of the Eagles, the rock band, not the football team. And then eventually the trade to Kansas City. And they had a great soundbite from Carl Peterson, who was the general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs at the time when they traded for a 37-year-old Joe Montana. And his wife asked him, why would you trade for a 37-year-old? And he said his response in a nutshell was, because that experience and that winning and that belief emanates throughout an entire team. And what did he do in Kansas City? He led him to the AFC Championship game. Led him to a home win and then against the Rams, a roadkill against the Houston Oilers at the time, and then they lost in the AFC Championship game. I don't think, and they were talking about the thing I love most about these types of, I don't want to call them documentaries, but these features is the full sound that you get from players. Neil Smith, who was one of the better pass rushers of his generation, phenomenal player. Derek Thomas on that team. Marcus Allen was on that team. Willie Davis was on that team. You showed them, hear them mic'd up. Come on, Joe. Come on, Joe. Everybody knew he was going to get it done. Everybody. I don't know if there's ever been an athlete that I can think of, at least in my lifetime, that has exuded as much confidence as he did. There was a Monday Night Football game, arguably the greatest Monday Night Football game I've ever seen. And I remember taping it, yes, on a VHS, taping it, because it was Elway against Montana. And I thought to myself, this is going to be one for the ages. I hope it lives up to the hype.
Say, when it actually lives up to it and you know it coming in, that's when it's the best, for sure.
Right. And it was in Denver. And Montana was playing for Kansas City, because everybody knows him as a San Francisco 49er, and rightfully so. Could have easily just rode off into the sunset. Could have retired and said, I'm done. I'm worried about leaving my legacy if I go someplace else. We said this earlier in the week. Remember the Willie Mazes of the world, where you're like, I can't believe he ended his career there, right? Unbelievable in San Francisco. And then suddenly with the New York Mets, you're like, I want to remember him in San Francisco. Well, Joe Montana, there were a lot of people who were worried about the same thing. So Montana goes to Kansas City. I told you what he did as a quarterback of the team. But on that Monday Night Football game, John Elway did what he does so very well. Scores a touchdown with a minute and a half left. I'm rounding my numbers here. Might have been like 140. But either way, he rushes in for a touchdown. Extra point by Jason Elam is good. He was a barefooted kicker. 4-point lead. Montana has roughly a minute and 40 seconds. I think it was 1:39 to be exact, to drive the length of the field, maybe not the length of the field, 70 plus yards, 80 yards or so, with one timeout. Moves his way down. And with about 14 seconds left, hits Willie Davis in the corner of the end zone. A guy who was on the practice squad for the Raiders in his career. Montana dissected, was a surgeon down the field. And everybody just knew that he was going to get it done. And it's funny because he was 0-3 in his career at Mile High until that game where he and Elway clashed. And then I got to thinking, he went to 4 Super Bowls, won all 4 of them, was the MVP in 3 of them, and never threw a pick in any of them. And I thought, he beat Boomer Esiason, he beat Kenny Anderson. That was in Detroit at the Pontiac Silverdome. Oh, I'm sorry. The Pontiac Lions. So he beat Kenny Anderson. He beat Dan Marino. He beat Boomer Esiason. And he beat John Elway. He beat 2 quarterbacks in Marino and Elway, who are considered top 10 quarterbacks of all time. Montana outplayed them both easily. He beat Marino 38-16 through 3 touchdown passes. He beat Elway 55-10. Now, it's not just him, as we all know. Name me another quarterback who has beaten 2 all-time greats in their Super Bowls. Terry Bradshaw, right? Beating Roger Staubach. Yeah. Would it be Troy Aikman? Troy Aikman beat Neil O'Donnell. I mean, if we're going to look at quarterbacks from that standpoint, you know what I mean? Give me somebody who's done something similar against that type of elite competition. Even though quarterbacks don't play against one another, we all know that. They play against the opposing team's defense. But if you've got to outshine somebody at your position, the equal to your position,
didn't both
the
the Eli's come against the Patriots?
Yes, he beat Tom Brady in both. Yeah. But he's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's not, he didn't win 4, right? I mean, I don't want to get too nitpicky about that. Yeah, beating Tom Brady twice is pretty impressive.
That's the only thing that ever can come to mind at all for me about beating 2 greats like that. And he's the same great, but still beat him twice.
Yeah. So tell me, that's a good one because Tom Brady's viewed as, the greatest player of all time. And I think that's fair. Would Peyton Manning be Drew Brees? And who's the other one he beat? He beat Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
He lost to Drew Brees. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because he beat the Panthers with the Broncos for that other one, right?
Yeah, he beat Cam Newton and Rex Grossman. To me, that doesn't fly.
No, that's not it.
Right.
Especially because the Broncos won. The defense pretty much won the game, felt like.
Let's see. Ben Roethlisberger beat Matt Hasselbeck in Detroit. Who else did he beat? Kurt Warner. He beat Kurt Warner with the Arizona Cardinals. Aaron Rodgers beat Ben Roethlisberger. Russell Wilson beat Peyton Manning. Patrick Mahomes has beaten Jimmy Garoppolo, Jalen Hurts, and Brock Purdy. It's kind of a fun game, isn't it? I'm just thinking. We're just thinking out loud here. I'm trying to think of who else would have anything. Look, John Elway's won a couple of Super Bowls. He beat Brett Favre and Chris Chandler. Who's Troy Aikman beaten? Jim Kelly twice. And Neil O'Donnell.
But gosh, you brought up Russell Wilson. That if they wouldn't have, thrown the interception on the goal line of that game, yeah, that would have been. I mean, he'd have 2 for sure. That's crazy to think about.
Here's who Terry Bradshaw has beaten. He's beaten Fran Tarkenton, Hall of Famer, Roger Staubach, twice, and Vince Ferragamo. I think that's as close as you're going to get.
Pretty good.
Right? Oh, he also, yeah, that's right. Those are the 4. Yeah. Roger Staubach, Dallas Cowboys, beat Bob Greasy and Craig Morton, who was a former Cowboy, but Morton was with the Denver Broncos at the time. I can't think of anybody else. I think if I gave you the people that the quarterbacks who Joe Montana has outdueled, I think his resume of beating those players is better than anybody else because Marino and Elway are considered so elite at what they do or what they did. There's no with all due respect, no Neil O'Donnell in there. But you're right. I mean, the Eli Manning one's a really good one. It's a really good. If Russell Wilson, to your point, if Russell Wilson beats Tom Brady and the Patriots, he beats Manning and Brady.
Yeah,
and he wins that title, right?
Would, I think no matter what, he's in the Hall of Fame at that point too. But
yes,
you win 2 Super Bowls, especially against those caliber of players. I think you would make it.
Okay, obviously the last one we've got to look at is Brady. Brady beat Russell Wilson, Matt Ryan, lost to Nick Foles, but whatever. Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes. Am I missing somebody there? Yes, I'm missing a couple. A few.
Yeah, a couple.
He beat Kurt Warner.
Okay.
He beat Jake Delhomme and Donovan McNabb, who's underrated.
Yeah, I was going to say Donovan McNabb.
So Brady probably has.
Yeah, he's got a couple there too, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, when you beat Warner, that's a hell of a, because Warner's a Hall of Fame player. I think Donovan McNabb, as I mentioned, very underrated. And when you beat Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And then you got Russell Wilson, who's still a really respectable court. I mean, like at that time, he was great. Too,
yeah, but I think Boomer Esiason and Ken Anderson are too. So if you take the 2 best quarterbacks he's beaten, it would be Warner and Mahomes. Yep. Are they better than Marino and Elway?
No, I'd probably take the Marino and Elway.
Yeah, I probably would too. That. Just a thought. I was thinking about that.
I mean, you're talking about 3 huge names in that discussion, no matter what. That's Montana, Elway, Marino. You could be my age and not have been able to really watch those games. You still know who those guys are.
Question for you. Here we go. Are you a soccer fan?
I'm not a huge soccer fan, no. I don't watch it regularly, no.
I'm not a soccer fan at all. It doesn't even. Mexico winning yesterday 2-0 doesn't register with me at all. I don't give a crap how many red cards. It's not my bag, but that's okay. What sport would it take? How much money would it take for you to do this? 2 soccer fans, football fans they call them, were being paid $50,000 each to watch all 104 World Cup games from a built cubicle in Times Square, New York.
Oh my goodness.
2 guys, Austin Franklin and Kevin Akoto, were picked from 6,000 plus people who applied. Fans are sitting outside the cubicle watching them watch the game of football.
How much are they giving them again? I missed that.
$50,000 each.
Oh,
would you do it?
Yeah.
104 games.
Yeah.
How long does the World Cup last? Couple weeks?
Yeah, I think it might be even like 3 weeks, something like that. So
I would. There's no question I would do that too.
Yeah,
only for the money.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, no doubt.
If you're gonna, I hope you're gonna feed me. Need that. Okay. Am I gonna rest comfortably? Maybe you don't have to. Maybe you go home for it. I don't know. I don't know if this is a bubble. Thank you, Seinfeld, the bubble boy, where you're staying there. But they've got some games in which you can play. I don't think there's a pool table in there, but it looks like there's a foosball table and so on and so forth.
So, okay, they got that.
What would so bad. If somebody said you have to watch 104 games of this sport, which is the one sport that $50,000 is the minimum you would have to ask for? It's not football. You and I could watch 104 football games.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be way too easy.
In a day, let alone over a 2 to 3 week period. It's not basketball. It's not hockey. It's not baseball. Right? None of those. It probably wouldn't be golf. You and I could watch.
I could watch a lot of
tournament
golf.
after tournament. Absolutely, without question. What would it be?
The
soccer would. You'd be pushing it with me for soccer.
Yeah, soccer would be pushing it for me too. 100%. I'm in the same boat as you with that. If you're saying there's another sport that I would have to that I would watch that I wouldn't do it for. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, what would it take? Like $50,000, a minimum of $50,000 for me to watch soccer.
I got pretty sick of watching curling in the Olympics after I liked it for a little bit. So if I have to watch 104 curling games,
yeah,
I'd
that's
probably lose my mind over that.
Although you and I talked about that, we got kind of caught up in it to a certain extent.
Oh yeah, for sure. It is interesting. I liked it, but then I felt like every time I turned on the Olympics, I was watching the same replay of the same curling match. I was like, did I watch this game already or this match or whatever it's called? But
what I couldn't figure out with the curling was how long it was going on. Like I thought it was an event and then it's over. And then suddenly you got mixed doubles. It's like tennis.
Yeah. I was going to say tennis was another one for me that was going to be right there for it'd be pushing it for me to watch that much of that.
Yeah, agree with all that. So we're on the same page there. We got some text that I want to get to for sure when we come back. Who's catching your eye this NFL offseason and maybe who you may be looking toward, especially when it comes to the Lions. Dan Campbell had some discussions and some names that he pointed out yesterday. We'll get to all that and more coming up as we begin the second hour of X's and Bros on a Friday morning, brought to you by Mitch Lineswell.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Huge here for my good friend Josh Garvey and the team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan, one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms. Their worldwide headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. And Josh and his team connect with all the sports fans and businesses across Michigan. They bring you John Beeline on the Huge Show. They bring you Lomas Brown during the Lions season. They are a top shelf team when it comes to growth and understanding what their clients need. And mix in when we do the Beat Huge contests or the NCAA March Madness brackets. Thank you, Josh Garvey, for what you do for the Huge Show and the Michigan Sports Network. Simple and easy. Just find Dorn Mayhew on all the social networks or just Google Dorn Mayhew and find out how they can help your business. And again, a special thanks to Josh Garvey and the Dorn Mayhew team in West Michigan.
The stock market goes up and then it goes down. It's fine while you're saving for retirement, but as you get closer to retirement, it can cause stress. Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. In my NFL days, this season could be a real roller coaster and a lot of fun, but roller coasters in retirement aren't as much fun. Do world events have you wondering if your retirement is safe? Will your money last even if the stock market were to take a dive? Have you had your retirement account stress tested to see what kind of risk you're actually taking? Let's not leave your retirement to chance. Hope is not a plan. Contact the pros at Mitch Lyons Wealth today and put us to work for you. Let's ensure your plan works even if the stock market doesn't. Text PLAN, P-L-A-N, to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. Investment advisory services are offered through MLW Advisory Services, LLC, DBA Mitch Lyons Wealth, a registered investment advisor.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
Reminder that DraftKings Sports is live in all 50 states, and of course that means here in Michigan too. You got 2 teams, you got 1 trophy. You got Game 5 in San Antonio tomorrow. Every possession, every fourth quarter swing, every clutch shot, the DraftKings Sports app is now live throughout the state. So whether you're catching the tip-off at home or maybe a final game at a bar, you know every minute, every game, every moment is on one app right here in the state of Michigan. That is DraftKings Sports. Use the code HUGE and sign up today. $5 gets you $200 in rewards guaranteed. That code is HUGE in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help. Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 years or older, Michigan only. Eligibility restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.com/audio. This is a limited time offer. I saw this little nugget yesterday where somebody ranked the top 20 players to watch in the 2026-2027 season. I think there's a name omitted from this, which is a little interesting because it forces you to watch them. Let me give you the list. You ready? Tell me, as I say the name, tell me if you think they belong in this top 20 players to watch. Doesn't mean they're the best players. This is not the top 20 players of all time, but these are top 20 players to watch. Fair enough? You understand it? Okay.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes. Makes sense, right?
I mean, yeah.
Josh Allen.
Sure.
Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow. Justin Herbert. Jaden Daniels. Caleb Williams. Drake May. Trevor Lawrence, Matthew Stafford. You notice the trend here. First non-quarterback, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs. First of all, they're all offensive players. It's all quarterbacks and running backs. Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, Aiden Hutchinson, Patrick Surtain. Do you agree with all those? Is there somebody?
I'm sure there's some that you could sub in and out there, but
yeah, is there somebody in there who you think should be in there but isn't in the top 20? Does Puka Nacua come to mind?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Does Will Anderson come to mind?
That's a player you love to watch. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think those are 2 guys, but I do think it's interesting that they have a couple of Lions and no Jared Goff. It's about, for me, if you're talking about the top 20 players, I wouldn't agree with this list. I don't think Caleb Williams is a top 20 player. Do you? I don't think Jaden Daniels is a top 20 player.
He can't be. He was hurt for too long last year.
Yeah, but right, because we're not sure. Patrick Mahomes sure as hell is. Josh Allen sure as hell is. Lamar Jackson sure as hell is. Joe Burrow sure as hell is. Matthew Stafford sure as hell is. Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson sure as hell is. Those 3 wide receivers, Smith and Jigba, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, absolutely. Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons, absolutely. I'm not sure about TJ Watt. I'm not sure about Aiden Hutchinson being a top 20 player.
I don't think TJ Watt would be in there anymore. I
don't either.
Not in top 20, no.
Would Patrick Surtain? Not far removed from Defensive Player of the Year.
I mean, yeah, you could argue he'd be in there. I feel like there's so many good. That's a tough list to make. I feel like
it's really hard list. It's a really argumentative.
That's why I was like, I feel like you could sub in so many guys. There's so many people you like to watch in the NFL. It's just I can't imagine them to break that down and make the top 20. I don't know.
I'll tell you this. I think there's a guy who belongs in. Like I'd put this guy in here. This isn't me not being a homer here, so please don't take it as that. But a guy I would put in there ahead of Caleb Williams as a top 20 player is Penei Sewell.
Sure.
Penei Sewell's better at his job than Caleb Williams is at his.
I mean,
you agree with that?
That's classic no love for the offensive line right there. Like nobody's really making it from there.
Right. I mean, who's better? Trey McBride or Caleb Williams?
Trey McBride.
Yeah, I'd probably put who's better? Kyle Hamilton or Caleb Williams? This isn't to take the proverbial shots at Caleb Williams all the time.
No, but like to respect those positions, you would have to take some players from those. You would think if they're the best at their position.
Kyle Hamilton's incredible. He's the best defensive player on the Baltimore Ravens and best at what he does. He's the best safety in the National Football League. You could debate it, I suppose, with certain names, but I think he is. Anybody else missing in your mind from that? I think Patrick Surtain is a very interesting name because I would probably put him in there. But it's a good debate.
Yeah, it's questionable for sure. I would think about some other people too.
Okay, here we go. From a text, our friend Freddie. Shep, nice how we got a GM that only makes trades at local all-you-can-eat buffets. Which GM would that be? Do you think he's referring to? Good to see all these homers on a getaway day from guys. Let's do it more when it matters. Then you got something. Well, listen, with a comment like that, that's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Are they supposed to not hit home? Is Cole Keith and Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson supposed to go up into the box and say, I'm afraid I'm not going to hit. We've got enough home runs today. Let's not hit another one. I think what he's saying is you'd like to see it spread out. I don't blame you. Me too.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Measuring home runs, I got that alarm going.
Yes,
measuring
perfect.
home runs. Yeah, it's perfect timing. Is probably a little misguided. Bringing it up all the time. It's part of slugging, so I get it, and it's important. Detroit is middle of the pack when it comes to home runs. So, they've got 74 as a team. I don't know. What does that mean to you? Yankees, Dodgers, Braves, White Sox, Mariners, they all have more. Detroit ranks 17th, like I said. Last year, if you just want to base it on home run power, last year, the Tigers in the Major League Baseball now, not the American League, but Major League Baseball, the Tigers ranked 10th in home runs with 198. So for what that's worth, I think what you're saying is you would like to see more of these homers being sprinkled throughout your entire schedule. Well, in June, they've hit the ball out of the yard a lot. And that's important. That's an important statistic. Now, you got to get guys on, too. You don't want nothing but – you don't want just these solo home runs. But Detroit got a two-run bomb from Torkelson. They got plenty of people involved in that home run power.
Dylan Dingler, man.
When you get that, Dylan Dingler had a couple the other day. When you get that, and Torkelson now has 10, what you're hoping for is that launches you into something. I don't think it's too dissimilar than a hockey player seeing the puck go in the net and a basketball player seeing the ball go through the hole, through the net, right? You want to feel that. You want to feel that swing. You want to feel, the guys who've hit homers have told me when you get it on the sweet spot, you barely even feel it. You want to experience that a little bit more. You got to experience it for the first time. You never know. And then it might take off. Now, it might be a quick week like Torkelson had earlier this year where he had 5 homers in a 6-game span and then cooled off, but you're trying to get there.
Yeah, but like I could relate to that in a way. I feel like with maybe you can too with golf. Like when you start hitting the ball well at a certain point, like if you're hitting it right in the center of your club and you feel like you're hitting it perfect, all I want to do is get to my next ball and hit. Like constantly. I feel like they probably think the same way when they finally get it going like that. Like it just starts.
Sure.
I mean, Dylan Dingler, who I just brought up, his last I think it was 7 or 8 exit velocities in play have all been over 98 miles an hour. Like that's he's.
I think they're all over 100.
Yeah, the last 2 yesterday it was like 99 and 97.8.
Gotcha.
Something like that.
Okay.
So
all right.
he's just smoking it right now. He can't miss. So I'm sure he can't wait to get up to the plate to hit again every time.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something that is contagious in that regard, don't you think? If you feel like if you feel like hitting is contagious in a lineup, how can it not be contagious with the individual themselves? Quick timeout. We'll get to more here on X's and Bros. We're brought to you on this Ferris Coffee Friday. We're brought to you this hour by our friends at Meyer.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Showtime 8 p.m. See the Lumineers live with Josiah and the Bonnevilles, July 19th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Soaring Eagle
You can cheer for the Comedy Brothers and all the Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Michigan. They have some huge deals happening every week. Buy one boneless wing, get one free every Thursday. They also have their bottomless appetizers. Groups can get bottomless apps starting at $9.99, and they also have the Pick Six meal for two. Get 2 entrees, 2 sides, and 2 drinks starting at $19.99. That's happening at all Buffalo Wild Wings locations in Michigan. Huge deals every week.
Hey, West Michigan, Mitch Lyons here. You've heard about our support of Tiger legend Kirk Gibson's fight against Parkinson's disease. Now we have a local opportunity to support West Michigan families affected by Parkinson's too. The first annual Drive Out Parkinson's Golf event, presented by the Grady's Parkinson's Promise, will be held Monday, June 29th at Watermark Country Club. And while the golf is at full capacity, you still have a chance to help support the cause. Mitch Lyons Wealth is the title sponsor, and we'd love to have others join us. If your business would like to support and be represented at the outing, or if you would like to contribute personally, it's easy to do by joining our team today. Just go to birdease.com, that's BIRDEASE.com/driveout Parkinson's to sign up for sponsorship packages or donate today. X's and BrO's and the Huge Show will both do their shows live from the course, and Shep and Huge are playing in the event. Join us in supporting this great cause. A portion of the proceeds will go to Gibby Center, and the rest will support local families. Go to birdease.com/driveout Parkinson's or contact me at mitchlyonswealth.com for more info.
Okay, 18 after the hour. Welcome back. X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Via text. Shep, trade Tarek after this start. might be just a little bit premature after the elbow surgery and one start, although he's been pumping it in at 99. That's what everybody's been telling us. So I'm not saying don't trade him. I'm just saying, can we pause it after one start? Just pause it for a moment. Trade Casey Mize soon after. Mize is expected to start Sunday. So suddenly you're losing your two best pitchers.
Starting to think the answer to that poll question is going to be it's already over.
Exactly. Trade Glaber. Again, I think I would hold on to him until the trade deadline to see where you are. Trade Jansen. Well, he's hurt. You're not going to get any. Trade Holton. Holy mother.
Holton?
He'd be a valuable piece for somebody out of the bullpen. Trade Vest. Torque or Riley. Oh my God. Get ready for after the strike building around McGonigal, Job, and Melton. Okay. First of all, I like the guys you're building around. All right. You're going to have to throw in some others, obviously. You do need people who can play, though. You're suggesting you're trading your second baseman, your two best pitchers, your left fielder, and your first baseman, as well as two important bullpen arms. I know Vest hasn't been good in the 8th, but he's been really good in the 9th. And I know Holton has taken a step back after being good the last 2 years. You still need a guy who has his stuff, his quality stuff as a lefty coming out of the bullpen. This is way too hyperbolic for me. Answer me this. I'm going to get myself in trouble here, but I'm going to say it anyway. Do you think the Tigers are done? Do you think they're out of it?
I don't think they're out of it. No.
Okay. All right.
You can't say that. Like the AL's been so bad, and there's still like the White Sox are leading the division, right? And there's
Correct.
still reason to believe. I mean, just based off their past however many years that they may not keep this up for the whole season. I guess there's a reason to believe that. That's why.
Yeah. If the Tigers can blow a lead like they did last year, do you think Chicago, who has so many younger players and experienced players, if you think that matters, do you think that they could blow an 8-game lead?
I definitely think an 8-game lead in June is you could come back from it. Yeah.
You think you judge a team after 40 games, do you not? You said that.
I did.
Okay. I said I want to give them at least 50. If you prejudge them at 40, then you do think the game is over. The season is over.
I don't think that they're a great baseball team by any means.
No.
But
I'm not suggesting that either. No.
But yeah, I mean, if the bar is the World Series or nothing, then yeah, they're done. They're not winning the World Series.
So I would say this, and again, I used 50 games. There are 83 games left? Is that right?
That sounds about right.
93 games.
93.
Left. There are 93 games remaining on the season. It's a lot of games. Also have a chance to lose a lot too. They are 8 games back in the division, and we would all agree. Can we all hold hands and say it's not the best division in baseball? I don't know if it's the worst.
We can definitely say that, though.
Okay. They are 5.5 back in the wild card. Is that insurmountable? I know what the record is, you guys. Okay. I know they're 11 games under 500. It's nothing special. I'm not trying to compare this team to the 84 Tigers. Okay. Or even the 2006 Tigers.
Right.
I'm asking you, is 5.5 insurmountable with 93 games left?
No, because the AL's left that open. Like it's there. That you can't deny
absolutely.
that no matter what their record is.
Right. Is 500 the bar? No, it's not. But 500's the bar right now for a wild card, dude.
Right, it is. And do you think Scott Harris wants to just give up like that, like right now? With
I don't know. That's probably the wrong name to insert into this conversation.
Yeah.
If you got in a 3-game series, if you got into the best of a 5-game series, or any series, and you had Skubal, who you obviously think highly of because you said you could trade him and get quite a bit, and Mize and Valdez, who's got a ring. If you had those three starters, would you feel good about your team's chances?
Yeah, that's the whole thing is that like I didn't want to blame the month of May on injuries or anything like that only because I don't think you should go 6-22 regardless. But clearly it had a little bit to do with it. You know what I mean? Like they're playing a lot better baseball right now.
As we said at the time, Andy, it's not the only reason they're 6-22, but it's part of the reason. Now, it's funny though, the Yankees aren't using that excuse with Aaron Judge. The Dodgers haven't used that excuse with the injuries that they've suffered. So I think a lot of people are falling back on that way too much. And yet in this next breath, they will complain about the lack of talent that this team has. On the other hand, certain guys being back in the lineup, like Gleyber Torres, to get on base. I don't think he's making a huge difference with his bat, although he was good yesterday. And you need some more consistency from the center field position, the third base position, perhaps right field as well. But my point is, you're not just getting rid of all of these guys. Now, we can have the debate about Skubal since it doesn't feel like he's going to be back with this team next year. Maybe there won't be a baseball season next year. So you can have a good conversation about that. But if you're the general manager, or in this case, the president of baseball ops, excuse me, if your team is within striking distance of making the playoffs on August 3rd, and you're trading away some of your most important pieces who got you into that position in the first place and helped you reach the postseason each of the last 2 years, what are you doing to your locker room? What are you doing to your fan base? And maybe more importantly, what are you telling your owner?
Exactly. That's what I was trying to say earlier when I did bring it up. Like, I feel like that's like, you can't just do that. Like you can't, at that point, I don't think you can make those trades. If they're back a game, you think that's going to be easy to convince anybody that like, oh yeah, we should still sell for sure. Why would we take a shot at it? You know,
we can't ask general managers in any of our sports teams to quote unquote, go for it and then be in a position to go for it and tell them to sell.
Exactly. All
right.
Regardless of the record, if you're, all that matters is how many games back you are and where you're at in the standings. Really.
All that truly matters is you getting into a postseason.
Exactly. Yep.
Vegas got into the postseason, and now they're in the Stanley Cup Finals. I know it's a different sport. You don't know what can happen.
I was going to say, it's not like we've never seen it in baseball either.
Right. We've seen wild cards win Super Bowls. We've seen wild cards reach the World Series. We've seen unlikely teams reach the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals. I would have guessed before the season began, or when the regular season ended, I should say, that Colorado would be the team to beat in the Stanley Cup playoffs. You would have thought OKC would have been the team to beat in the NBA playoffs. Neither one is playing for a championship. So I think you got to be careful on the timing of you wanting to get rid of all these quote unquote assets. If you're out of it as the trade deadline approaches, if you're completely out of it, if you're, I don't know how many games that you have to be, but if you're talking about early August and you're 8 games back in the wild card and you're double digits back in the division, I'm selling. And I'm selling a lot of the names that you're talking about here because of what you can get in return. I would just remind you that in order for your team to be double digits back in the division, 8 games back or so in the wild card in early August, the guys that you've listed here, their value might not be as high as you think, since there will be other players who play their positions who might come a little bit cheaper and maybe be just as effective. Not Tarek Skubal in all likelihood, but some of the other players that you mentioned in the text. Our phone number on the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. The text line, Sports Radio 21,000. You can also join us in the chat as we stream live on YouTube, X, and Facebook. And we're brought to you this hour on a Ferris Coffee Friday by Meyer.
Rod Stewart returns to Soaring Eagle Thursday, September 3rd. The Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series with special guest Richard Marks. Tickets start at $71 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. One last time, Rod Stewart with Richard Marks, September 3rd. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Huge here for all the ABC warehouse locations in Michigan. Now, if you're looking for the best prices on TVs, furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more, you need to go to abcwarehouse.com. You can shop there and also shop in person at all ABC warehouse locations across Michigan. For the one close to you, go to abcwarehouse.com. Best deals on TVs, appliances, furniture, and mattresses at all ABC warehouse locations in Michigan.
Dad, here's 3 reasons why we should go to the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give.
Okay.
1, you can spend Father's Day weekend with some real golfers.
Ouch.
2, it's a good time for a good cause. Foodie fun, family fun, and fun helping feed neighbors in need.
And 3.
3, do you really need another reason?
Join the fun June 18th through 21st at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Learn more and get tickets at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
You know, we're fortunate here in Michigan. We have some of the greatest golf courses in the country. Tullymore and St. Ives is part of the reason we can brag the way we do about our golf. Once you visit Tullymore, you'll keep coming back. The view is breathtaking. The golf is fantastic. The accommodations are regal, and the people are special. It really does feel like a home away from home at Tullymore. Make your play and stay reservations today by going to TullymoreGolf.com or by calling 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837.
Don't forget, 8:18, we've got the six-pack, the Friday six-pack brought to you by Garage Beer. Just a reminder, DraftKings Sports is live in all 50 states, including Michigan. 2 teams left, 1 trophy, every possession, every fourth quarter swing, every clutch shot. DraftKings Sports app is now live throughout the state. So whether you're catching the tip-off at home or whether someplace else, you know that you can catch every minute of every game and every single exciting moment with one app in the palm of your hand. It's the DraftKings Sports app. Right now, if you're a new DraftKings customer, you can sign up, use the code HUGE, HUGE. You spend $5 to get $200 in rewards. In partnership with DraftKings, the crowd is yours, but if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants some help, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 years or older. Michigan only. Eligibility restrictions do apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer. Supposed to be a smoky weekend, right? Another hot weekend. It was sticky. It was really, really heavy.
Well, what is it? What's the temp down there for you guys supposed to be this weekend? Do you know? Off the top of your head?
It's supposed to be in the mid 80s.
Okay,
but I don't think it's always about the temperature. It's about the humidity, right?
Definitely about that. There's rain in the area all weekend.
Yeah, and it is, and it rained again late last night.
Like I was telling you, we had a tornado warning here in West Michigan. So
that's right. I know you did. And everybody okay? I hope.
Yeah, no, it seems like it. I haven't had the chance to look to see. Everything seemed to be in Allegan County, which is a little south of Grand Rapids. So I haven't been able to see if there was any major damage stuff from that. But the night before, we had not as bad of winds. It was quicker, but it was crazy for 10 minutes, man. You looked at the window and it looked like a tornado was happening. It knocked out our power for I think it was maybe a minute of time, and then it came back on. But it was so weird because it just came and left so fast. And I don't remember this many weird weather instances when it comes to wind in my life until recently. It just seems odd lately.
I live in an area where there's an electrical box. It just, for some reason or another, it doesn't take much for people in our area to lose power. Whether it's the wintertime with snow and ice and wind, or even the summer with just humidity. I mean, when it gets that hot outside,
that's when it gets crazy. Yep.
So I had to invest. in an in-home generator. It was so necessary. We're losing it pretty constantly. It doesn't matter how many times you call the electrical company. You sit there and tell them, "Hey, there's no reason to lose." Well, then they'll blame it on something, but they don't fix it. So
yeah, exactly.
It drive us crazy.
I had a guy yesterday I golfed with my golf league. He was a sub, but he was telling me about how he still doesn't have his actual power on, but he has a gas generator and stuff. And I was like, man, the more you talk about that, the more it sounds worth it if I didn't have power.
Yeah. But you're making a lot of trips to the gas station.
That's what I'm saying. If it's out for that long, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And the sound, you obviously you can't keep that in the garage. You keep it outside and you worry about, damage or theft and all that other stuff. So there's all kinds of issues. What's it like in the studio there?
It's been hot, as I've been explaining to you. The air conditioning has been working up here for a couple of weeks.
God.
So, yeah.
God.
It's not great. Well, the thing is, the other room that I do a lot of the editing in and stuff, like the sound bites and whatnot, it's extremely cold in there because the air works in that room. So we have a window here in the studio, across, where you can see into the other one. I just have to look in there the whole time thinking about how much colder it is in that one.
All right. Well, try to keep cool. It could be a lot worse, I suppose.
No, it's not that bad. I mean, now it's 7:39 in the morning.
If you were Brett Hayes in the afternoon, he's got to be wearing tank tops to work, for crying out loud.
As Huge calls him, Hot Box Hayes. He's definitely he's dealing with it up here.
We don't want Huge wearing tank tops, but
no.
Superfly maybe.
Gosh, he's gonna find this one, I'm sure.
The big difference: Billy wearing the tank top and a baseball cap, because I don't think I've ever seen him do a show. I don't know if I've ever seen the top of his head, because he's always got some type of hat on.
We were just talking about Grand Haven yesterday. It's a great beach. Let's get Bill out to Grand Haven, have him do a show live out there. Go. Tank top, hat. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Although he's been in Midland all week.
True.
So good for him. Yeah. I'm going to be at next week's going to be a busy week for us. We're going to be at Bay Point, and we're going to be at the Meyer Classic at the end of next week. The Michigan PGA is coming up this month as well. So we're going to be doing some stuff from a lot of different golf events throughout the month of June. So looking forward.
I'm excited for it, man. I'll be running right over to the course on Friday after you're there. So you better stick
How'd you do
around
in
for
your
a
league
second.
last night, by the way?
I did better than I've been doing. So it's a short little track, but it's difficult. They have a lot of those like kind of mound greens, and they keep them really well, so they move quick. So it's like a lot of the time you'll have these crazy pin locations where it's hard to shoot at. So the short game basically makes your game there, and I've just been horrible around the green the last 3 weeks. But yesterday I reeled it in a little bit and shot a 42, so I was happy with that.
So it's back-to-back 42s for you each of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been better. So
you can take that. I think
I'm happy with it.
I could be wrong here, but I think it was easy to go from 50 to 45, from 45 to a certain extent, maybe even 42. Trying to get under 40. I know there's some people out there driving right now. They're laughing their ass off because like, man, that's because they're so much better than we are. But if you get to go from 42 to 39, for me is really hard.
No,
it's been really hard.
It's crazy, man. Like you can't I've gotten 40 so many times that course, and I've only broke it one time there. I shot at 39. So
and that's a course
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Play it every single week. So
let me ask you this question, because I feel this way about my game. I feel I play better on better courses.
Oh, 100%. That's what I've been saying to all my friends, and they've played with me, so they see it. I've played better at the nicer courses. This isn't the nicest course I play at where my league's at. I play nicer at all those courses, or better at all those courses than I've played at the Pines every single time.
Okay. All right. Good. I feel the same way. Although last weekend I was terrible at a really good course, but a lot of it's the narrowness, the trees. And then when I played Monday at Oakland Hills, which is one of the finest courses in the country, I played the best golf I've played in years. I mean, I was striking
it's a great time to do it.
Everything. And every putt, and I'm not exaggerating, every single putt, not once did I blow a putt 5 feet by like I usually do. For some reason, I was able to adjust to those greens quickly, and I got everything as almost, that's a gimme. It's just a tap in.
That's the best feeling, man.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, Andy, it was the best feeling I've ever had on a golf course, and I mean that. I mean, and I've broken 80 twice, which I know for a lot of people isn't a big deal, but for me,
that's really good, man. I'm still
Yeah.
searching for that. So.
Yeah, in Phoenix one time, played by myself, shot 80, only saw one group because it was 450, I think I teed off, or maybe it's 350. And I asked for the twilight rates because in Arizona it gets so hot. And the guy asked me, where are you from? I said, how do you know I'm from anywhere? He said, because nobody in Phoenix plays at this time of the day. Because it was like 109 degrees. Okay.
Yeah.
And honestly, it was sand-based fairways. I didn't see anybody on the course until I think the 16th green or the 16th hole. And of all people, it was Olden Polynice in a group. Olden Polynice, the former Piston. And they let me play through. And
that's crazy.
It was crazy. So I ended up shooting a 79 that day.
Wow.
And I was beyond excited.
Rental clubs were you using?
Rental clubs.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah, believe it or not. Yeah. So no, I'm sorry. I played my own clubs. The other time I broke 80, I had rental clubs.
Okay.
In Arizona. Anyway,
isn't it crazy how hot it gets that fast there when you're playing there? I experienced that one time too. I did start at 7 a.m., but by the back 9, I did it in like July. It was ridiculous, man. Like it was so hot. It was like, just get us off the course.
Some places have fans in their golf carts.
Yeah, I think it's
which is really important. But what they'll do, they'll make sure they wet a towel. They've got a lot of water buckets throughout that allows you you got to put a towel around your neck. You got to stay hydrated. If you're drinking beer out there at this time of the year, you're asking for heat stroke.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it when I played that round. Didn't even. I was like, water. Just give me water.
Yeah, just absolute insanity. I know somebody who played the other day in the afternoon, similar to you, and they thought it was borderline miserable because of how hot they were. And Michigan gets there. And I don't know if you know this. I'm sure a lot of people do, but we are so fortunate in this state to have as much as we have when it comes to golf. I think people in the state of Michigan realize it, but I think that outside of this state, people I think are unaware of it. I really do. I don't think they recognize just how much we have to offer and how good we are. Like
Right.
Michigan is known as America's summer golf capital. Okay. We've got 748 daily fee municipal and resort courses. Okay. Michigan is one of 5 states with 800 plus courses. Florida, California, just ahead of New York and Texas.
I mean, think about it.
86% of the golf courses in Michigan are public. That is much higher than the national average. The national average is 72%. And I found this out the other day that the Michigan golf industry, the total economic impact, this is a study done by the National Golf Foundation. The economic impact of golf for Michigan is $6.1 billion. It's $6.1 billion.
With how packed they are and stuff, man, it doesn't surprise me. Like golf has really taken off. It really has.
Yeah.
And those other states you mentioned, 3 of them, I think it was California, Texas, and Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Those are states you can play in most of the year. So it's impressive that Michigan.
Oh yeah, you play year round.
Yeah, exactly.
Florida, if I retire, the reason people want to move to Florida, no state tax, number one, but also if you're a golfer, you live in a golf area. Like I got a buddy who's got a condo down there in Florida, and a couple of them, but they made sure when they bought it, they didn't care about how fancy it was. They just wanted a golf community.
Right.
Because they go down there in the wintertime, and I've been down there with them, and you could play all these different courses. And Andy, it's super cheap.
I bet, honestly. That's awesome.
But Michigan ranks first in the nation in number of public golf facilities, third in the nation in the number of 18-hole equivalent courses. So this is the place to be, without a doubt. And we're lucky. And so we're going to be doing a lot of golf shows over the remainder of the month. Let me get to, I think you got a text, right? I want to make sure we get to that. And then I got one text, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I do. It says, morning, Shep and Andy. It's Peter. He said, normally I only watch real sports, which makes me laugh because I feel like soccer always catches that rap. But it says, but I'd watch all 104 World Cup games for 1,500 total game time. So he's saying an hour, 1,500 an hour.
Okay.
Is what would add up to maybe. But yeah, it's,
he's an expensive date. He's an expensive date.
I do want to say, listen, I don't watch soccer a lot. I do think it's a real sport. I've covered it enough that it's so hard. I can't imagine them to do what they do with their feet, man. There's no way I can keep up with it.
Yeah, I've called it. I called it for years. Indoor soccer primarily, but I called it for years. I just could not get behind it. I just can't. Here's the thing that bothers me. It's not the sport's fault. Okay, I'm not saying they're not talented. I'm not saying they're not in good shape, because they are in both.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't understand the allure to it, and the reason I don't is because there can be a lot of non-action, and it's very low scoring.
Yes, like the back and forth when you're kind of towards the middle of the field is just like, oh my gosh, like come on.
I spent 3 different summers, parts of 3 different summers in Germany, in Europe, calling NFL Europe. Okay, for Fox. Soccer's big over there, obviously. People got me to go to a soccer game, and we had the debate. The debate's it's bound to happen if you're an American who resists soccer like me. And so the ugly American side comes out. This is not even close to football. Our football, our real football, the National Football League, blows this away. No, it doesn't. You stop too much. I said, I want you to look at all the people on the pitch. Are they constantly running? No. Now, do they run a lot? Absolutely. I mean, you get 90 minutes. Of course, you're going to do that. I said, but there's don't give me that there's action all the time and guys are running all the time. They're not. Pick out one guy and see oftentimes how he'll just kind of drift a little bit. Okay, and it's no different than a lot of basketball, and it can be football, and it can be hockey. Okay, and it can be baseball. That's what happens in sports. It's not a knock on soccer. I just get told all the time that you are constantly moving. No, you're not.
Yeah, there are times when people aren't. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's absolutely some. And then when you have low scoring, but it's not even just the low scoring; it's the low chances.
Yeah, like there's just not a lot of chance. I was just gonna say that. So like I still cover a lot of high school soccer for Wood TV, and just the other night, like I covered the Rockford girls. They're playing to go to the state championship, and watching that game, like they were just way better than the other team they played. But some of like the toe-to-toe goals they had and stuff, and they chipped a couple that went like right over the goalie's head, right into the bar. And I'm like, they're unbelievably good. And that's like actually kind of fun to watch. The problem is when you get two really good teams, like they're both so good defensively, it feels like that those chances you're talking about, they just don't exist.
Yeah,
I think
if
that's
the goalie's got 3 saves, they've had an unbelievable game.
Right.
At least in hockey, you've got 30 shots on net.
Yep.
At least in hockey, there's hitting. And at least in hockey, there's some physicality associated with it. And that's always been my complaint. But here's the other thing. I've been told, honestly, since I was a kid, that's a long time ago. Since I was a kid, I have been told that soccer is taking off in the United States, that it's going to be really big. And my thought was, okay, I mean, I'm waiting for it. We'll see what happens, but we don't say. I know when I played high school football, our stands were packed on both sides. Now, it's not Texas football. I'm not saying we filled up the Pontiac Silverdome either. I'm just saying it was packed on each side. No matter who we were playing, you had hundreds of people there. You go to a soccer game, yeah, that's not happening. I mean, the students aren't like, all right, here we go. Oh, let's do it. You know, it's a tennis match. It just didn't happen. And I don't see it. I think there's a lot of kids. I've got little nephews. They play for sure. Or my niece's kids is what I should say. They play soccer. Do they love it? Is that their ultimate goal? Absolutely not. Right? They play it to stay active. And that's good. It's good that you can stay active with that sport. The whole belief that it's going to take our country by storm is so false. It's just not even close. It's never going to surpass the National Football League. It's never going to surpass Major League Baseball. I don't think it's ever going to surpass the NBA either. Okay? Hockey, it might someday. When you have as many American teams as hockey does, when you have TV coverage and those TV contracts, I don't think that's happening. That's just me. Shep, if the GM, Scott Harris, is going to be so stupid and delusional and wait till the end of July to trade players thinking that they've got something now, the trade for Tarek Skubal now and buy bats, you don't sell now. You're going to end up doing the same thing in 2014 when it was over and you got nothing for nobody 3 years later. Well, the difference is you don't have to trade these guys. Tarek Skubal's the only one. You still have control of players like Casey Mize, like Riley Green. Why would you trade? You want to trade Will Vest or Tyler Holton because you're out of it? Okay, I don't disagree with that. You want to trade Gleyber Torres? I don't disagree with that. But earlier in the text, you're bringing up names like Green and other players that you want to hold on to. They're not one-year deals. 1 year deal with Jensen, 1 year deal with Torres. That's fine. Those guys I get. I'm not trading a guy like Riley Green for the sake of trading him when I've got control of him. I'm not trading Casey Mize for the sake of trading him when I've got control of him. Doesn't make any sense. I think that's bad business. We've got at 8:18, we've got the Friday six-pack brought to you by Garage Beer. All that coming up in the final hour here on X's and Bros, and we'll talk Lions on the other side. Brought to you this hour by Meyer.
Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, 2 world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Hey, West Michigan, Mitch Lyons here. You've heard about our support of Tiger legend Kirk Gibson's fight against Parkinson's disease. Now we have a local opportunity to support West Michigan families affected by Parkinson's too. The first annual Drive Out Parkinson's Golf event, presented by the Grady's Parkinson's Promise, will be held Monday, June 29th at Watermark Country Club. And while the golf is at full capacity, you still have a chance to help support the cause. Mitch Lyons Wealth is the title sponsor, and we'd love to have others join us. If your business would like to support and be represented at the outing, or if you would like to contribute personally, it's easy to do by joining our team today. Just go to birdease.com, that's BIRDEASE.com/Drive-Out Parkinson's to sign up for sponsorship packages or donate today. X's and Bros and The Huge Show will both do their shows live from the course, and Shep and Huge are playing in the event. Join us in supporting this great cause. A portion of the proceeds will go to Gibby Center, and the rest will support local families. Go to birdies.com/driveoutparkinson's or contact me at mitchlyonswealth.com for more info.
Dad, here's 3 reasons why we should go to the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give.
Okay.
1, you can spend Father's Day weekend with some real golfers.
Ouch.
2, it's a good time for a good cause. Foodie fun, family fun, and fun helping feed neighbors in need.
And 3.
3, do you really need another reason?
Join the fun June 18th through 21st at the Meyer LPGA Classic for Simply Give. Learn more and get tickets at MeyerLPGAClassic.com.
Huge here for my good friend Josh Garvey and the team at Dorn, Mayhew, West Michigan. One of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms. Their worldwide headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. And Josh and his team connect with all the sports fans and businesses across Michigan. They bring you John Beeline on the Huge Show. They bring you Lomas Brown during the Lion season. They are a top shelf team when it comes to growth and understanding what their clients need. And mix in when we do the Beat Huge contests or the NCAA March Madness brackets. Thank you, Josh Garvey, for what you do for the Huge Show and the Michigan Sports Network. Simple and easy. Just find Dorn Mayhew on all the social networks or just Google Dorn Mayhew and find out how they can help your business. And again, a special thanks to Josh Garvey and the Dorn Mayhew team in West Michigan.
I like where Juan's at. You know, he was coming off that injury, all that, and hadn't missed a day with us, been putting in the work. And so he's doing a good job in spring. But, man, we got some guys now, you know, between Wanham and Turner and this pup, Lucas, obviously more. Like, we got some length now. We got some size and length and athletic ability on the perimeter. You know, Lacey is that, but he's a little bit more of that big end, big stacked. But we are big, we are long, and so you can't wait for training camp. You know, that's you just can't wait.
That's Dan Campbell. Last day of OTAs, so kind of cool to watch the Lions go to work. And
he sounded pretty excited in that one to me.
Yeah, I think so too. It's excitement and confidence. I heard a confidence in his voice when he talks about his edge rushers, and you can understand why. Look, certain numbers, we always associate certain numbers in baseball, OPS, slug, and all this other stuff. You get so caught up in it, right? Well, you could do the same thing with football and certain positions on the football field. Wide receivers, how fast are they running the 40? Defensive tackles, how much are they benching? Same thing with edge rushers. Think about it for a minute. What was the knock on Ruben Bain? Do you remember? He's the defensive end out of Miami. Do you remember what the knock was on him?
His arms were short?
Correct.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah. So his arms measured 30 7/8. That's in the 7th percentile.
Such a crazy thing to get measured for.
I know.
But yeah.
It's not a good thing, okay? According to everybody at the NFL level. That was the knock on Aiden Hutchinson, dude. If you remember, Aiden Hutchinson, they felt like he had short arms. They felt like it was at 32.5 inches that the short arms were going to be a problem.
Looking at him, his arms would have never been my first thought when I would be thinking about him. But that, I get why they look at everything and why they do it, but it's just that is crazy to think about.
Yeah. Well, I look at, speed off the edge. I look at bend. I think bend is really important for an edge rusher. Are you able to get up and under inside guys and things of that nature? The different moves, the spin moves, and so on and so forth, and setting the edge. I think that's really important. Kelvin Shepard called him a werewolf, which I think is a pretty awesome nickname, I might add. But a way to describe his player. He's a werewolf. Here are the arm lengths of Detroit's pass rushers. I mentioned 32.5 for Aiden Hutchinson, and we're not going to put too much stock in it. Would you have drafted Ruben Bain Jr.? I would have.
Yeah, I would have either way.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, for sure.
But so his arms each is 2 inches shorter than that of Aiden Hutchinson. You heard Dan Campbell mention the players in that soundbite, who they've added, the importance of those players. Aiden Hutchinson is 6 foot. Aiden Hutchinson is 6'7". Peyton Turner is 6'6". DJ Wanham and Anthony Lucas, the undrafted rookie out of USC, are both 6'5". Now, I know what the immediate thought would be. Shep, who gives a crap? Because Marcus Davenport was 6'6". He was also injury prone.
Yeah, that was the problem the whole time.
Correct. Here's the other, fly in the ointment that you could add to a debate with me. Al-Qadim Muhammad was 6'3", and he boasted, 11 sacks? And my response to that would be, yes, but he played less than 40% of the snaps. So you want guys who are going to be out there who can help set the edge. Do you have that? Turner, 35-inch arms. Wanham, 34.5-inch arms. They have power. They have size. They have length. And that's what they like. That's what Lions coaches really like.
No, and I think the depth is so important too, honestly. Like to finally have more people to choose from is huge.
I don't think enough is being made of that. I think what we're doing, whether you think it's fair or unfair, but we all have immediate thoughts on on certain players. Okay, we judge them. We don't want to be judged quickly. Don't prejudge me, right? But we do the same thing with the Lions. For example, Peyton Turner. What do you know about Peyton Turner? Besides that he plays for the Lions and he's a defensive end.
Not much, to be honest.
Right, exactly. Me either. Played at the University of Houston, played in New Orleans, hasn't started a game in his career, has never had more than 2 sacks in a season. Immediately, that's what I gained with the acquisition. Those are the things that immediately came to mind for me. I'm like, okay, how unfair is that? Like, what if he only has no more than 2 sacks in a season? What if he's a rush defensive end? What if he's a guy who just sets the edge? What if he's getting swapped out for what was New Orleans' equivalent of Derek Moore? Right? That's the reason the Lions drafted Derek Moore. He's big, he's strong, he can set the edge, but he can also rush the passer. You have guys who fit better roles. We don't want to hear that in football. We do it in other sports. Patrick Keen's a power play guy. Great. There are certain players who have certain roles in situations for your teams. Guy coming off the bench. Danish Jenkins is going to come in and spell X. Paul Reed is going to come in and spell X. Great. But in football, we want guys who play every down. Defensive line's tough to do that. I sure don't want a rotational situation with my offensive line. I want at least 2 wide receivers who are going to play on a regular basis. I want to tell you that we want everyday guys, except for the defensive line, and maybe, just maybe, 1 guy in the secondary, depending on how you're going to play it. Okay? But defensive ends or defensive linemen, you're going to rotate. So we want the second coming of Aaron Donald. I want Reggie White. Give me Lawrence Taylor. Absolutely. But they had other players associated or along their defensive lines that were rotational guys. The Lions feel like, Aiden Hutchinson, I'm sorry, at that position, you can't play 100% of the snaps.
No, not a chance.
Okay? And anybody who expects that is just, you're just not realistic, man.
It's also why a lot of help on the other side would help him out too. So when you're constantly going against double teams and everything all game, it's not easy.
To be honest with you, Andy, Aiden Hutchinson, I don't know if people realize this, last year, he played 91% of the snaps. That is freakish stuff.
No, seriously, it is. Especially coming off the injury he had.
Is.
His had to get that surgery in his leg and everything. That's really hard to do.
So can I put that in perspective? Who's the best pass rusher in football?
Myles Garrett.
Of course. He played 82% of the snaps. The year before, he played 76% of the snaps. 81%, 70. He's never played more than 86% of the snaps. That's a lot. He's built like, a Greek god, and he's highly productive. He's the best at what he does. He's an MVP candidate. Well, defensive player of the year, because they don't give MVPs to defensive players anymore. He's a Hall of Fame player. He's better than Aiden Hutchinson. I'm just giving you the percentage of snaps that they play. 91% for Hutchinson is off the chain. Really impressive. Look at all the great pass rushers, okay? And you'll notice some of that, whether or not a certain player can do that. All right? I think Max Crosby's an absolute stud. Do you? Absolutely you do. He's another guy who plays a lot of snaps. He played 94% of the snaps for the Ravens.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like he's always in the field. Seems like he's
always on the field. I don't think there's a defensive end. I don't think there's an edge rusher. I would have to take a look a little bit closer. I don't think there's another edge rusher who plays as much as Max Crosby and Aiden Hutchinson. TJ Watt's a really good player. 82%, 86%. Those are the numbers. And again, I'm not knocking him. I'm just telling you, Micah Parsons is a hell of a player. Would you want him on your team? You damn right you would.
Yeah.
72% of the snaps last year, 82% his last year in Dallas. So those are freaks. You need rotational guys. Guys got to be able to come in and fill that void for a snap or two. The Lions have built that. There's no question about it. Quick timeout. We're brought to you this hour by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. When we come back, the Friday Six-Pack brought to you by Garage Beer.
In the Den with Dan Dickerson.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, your getaway reimagined. With 4 pitchers coming off the IL, the Tigers' rotation and bullpen will both have a very different look about a week from now. Skubal, Mize, and Verlander are rejoining the rotation, which means the Tigers have to figure out to do with 3 of their current starters, Troy Melton, Kader Montero, and Jack Flaherty. If they go with a 6-man rotation for a couple of weeks, which seems likely, Melton and Flaherty will likely stay in the rotation with Montero moving to the bullpen. A 6-man rotation means a 7-man bullpen. When Kenley Jansen comes back, if Montero goes to the pen, 3 relievers are going to have to be sent down. Hannafy and Madden are the most likely candidates, and then it's going to be a tough choice between Brisky, Summers, and DeJesus. Lots of changes, and in the end, both the rotation and bullpen will look a whole lot stronger.
Celebrate the soul of folk and Americana. The Lumineers Automatic World Tour comes to Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort Sunday night, July 19th, with special guest Josiah and the Bonnevilles, part of the Soaring Eagle Outdoor Summer Concert Series. Tickets start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office or online at etix.com. Showtime 8 p.m. See the Lumineers live with Josiah and the Bonnevilles, July 19th at Soaring Eagle Casino, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to Shep. Don't forget the huge show later today at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
I will say this. This is what I love about Freddie, and I give a ton of credit for at least thinking outside the box. He's not like many of our listeners. He just doesn't conform. He doesn't fall in line. I think we all get a little caught up in a moment. But when is the right time to trade a player? So that might be something we could talk about at 35 after the hour as we dive a little bit more into certain players here in Detroit and so on and so forth. It is, however, 18 after the hour. And on Fridays, you know what that means. It's time for the Garage Beer Friday six-pack.
Sure is about that time. All right, anyway. It's almost that time on Friday anyway. All right, so my first question for you. I got sunrise or sunset. Which one is better?
Ooh. Oh.
I mean, you're an early morning person, so I feel like you definitely would have an opinion on sunrise too. But
yeah, that's a great one. I would probably say sunset. I think it might depend on where you are. Is there anything better than being on a lake in our state, boat, dock, whatever,
no,
and seeing the sunset?
Nope, there's nothing better. That's why I love
it.
I'm
telling you, man, I've seen sunsets all over this country. You know, California, Arizona, Texas, Florida, they're beautiful. I don't know if there's anything better or more just calming and making you feel at ease than sitting back on either a deck or on a boat and watching the sunset on a beautiful night in the state of Michigan. So I'll say sunset. How about you?
It's definitely sunset for me overall. I'm just up to see more of them, but yeah, I'm very fortunate. I have a cottage up on Beaver Island, which I don't know if you know where that's at, but it's middle of Lake Michigan. Yeah, so it's out of Charlevoix. Some of the ones we get up there, man, it's just unbelievable. So I've fallen in love with those. So
all right, look forward to the invite this summer. Okay,
sounds good. Yeah, we'll get you there.
That's one of the six-pack down, and we'll be having plenty of garage beer this weekend. Go ahead.
Getting through them, that's for sure. All right, so number 2 here. It's gonna take you back. I was laughing myself right in this one. Favorite venue you had for a high school dance?
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. Most of ours were at the gym.
Okay, so they didn't do like a lot of like even for prom or anything like that. Yeah, prom was always where we went somewhere else, but
yeah. So prom, obviously, you do that. We had districts the next day in baseball.
Oh wow!
The day after our prom.
Oh gosh, yeah, that does take me back now to thinking about that.
So that was an early night for me. I was more focused on the baseball than I was my date, Kelly Dwyer. Always appreciated that. Wonderful woman. So I was probably more focused on making sure I got in at a decent hour so I could play the next day. I wish some of my teammates felt the same way. So it wasn't necessarily the case. So I couldn't give you a location. I will say this. My daughter just graduated from Michigan State. She was on the leadership council for her sorority for 3 years. She did all the planning. She was in charge of planning the events for the last 2 years of her time in the sorority. And she was looking all over the state to try and find some place to go. I said, why don't you just make it right there in East Lansing? Why do you have to go anywhere? We want to go and see places and so on and so forth. So she was bouncing all over the state to try and find the right place.
Huh, that's an interesting way going about it.
Yep. All right, 2 down.
On to the third one here. Do you have a favorite type of tree and why?
A favorite type of tree?
Yep, tree. Yep. So like can be anything here in Michigan or anywhere else. I don't know.
Well, I would say this as a guy whose backyard is loaded with trees. In fact, when we moved into our house, we had to have 9 of them taken out. There were so many. And that tells you we still have a lot left. I love the fall scents and I love fall golf and everything. I absolutely despise raking leaves. So my favorite trees would probably be those that don't have a lot of leaves that are going to fall.
No, that's a way of looking at it.
We have 2 Japanese maple trees in our front gardens, which is awesome. They're really good looking trees and they don't have leaves that fall. Pine trees are another one for me. I know people love maple trees and I like looking at them. There's almost, we were talking about sunsets and sunrises in the state of Michigan. Go for the fall colors in northern Michigan.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's breathtaking. You could you'll go through your entire camera roll if you do that. But I don't want to rake those leaves. I'll look at them. I'll marvel in them as I'm driving to golf or I'm driving through different places. I'll be like, wow, is that unreal? It's gorgeous. I love the yellow and the green and the pink and the purple and the burnt orange and all that other stuff. I don't want them in my backyard, man, because I don't want to have to rake those leaves. So it's a selfish point of view. Give me the pine trees, I guess, would be a good one.
All right, listen up. Do you have a favorite punk rock band? And if you don't, did you ever give it a try to listen to it?
What help me with punk rock?
You know, like Blink 182, like that.
Yeah,
like
I listen
that
to
kind
Blink
of
182.
style. Yeah, like
Yep.
that.
Yeah, I for sure. My son had a band called Anti-Ghost.
Yep.
And yeah, Blink 182 was a big, and I mean a big influence on them. So I would say, yeah, I've given it a shot. I don't know if I can't say that I'm a favorite. My favorite is that genre by any stretch, but there are punk rock bands that I have listened to. I can't say that it's all on my Spotify list.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's more like a lot of the punk rock bands seem to have like the one hit, like wonders and stuff like that, ones that really get them big. But I mean, yeah, it is one of my types of music that I listen to a lot. So I just was interested to see if you did ever give it a try or not. And thinking of Anti-Ghost, some of the songs we have coming back, I was kind of like, I feel like some of that music was inspired by that. So that's why I was wondering.
Yeah. Angels and Airwaves. Have you ever heard of them?
Yep. I sure have.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that punk rock?
I would consider that. Yeah. It's around
Would
that.
you?
It's around that genre.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was
more
just rock and roll.
Yeah. I was saying maybe more just like a I don't know, some kind of rock, but yeah.
Yeah. There's a fine line
Alternative.
between there's a fine line between some of these genres.
For
Don't you
sure.
think? Well, what's the difference between hard rock and heavy metal? So that's what I like. I mean, I like obviously AC/DC and Van Halen and Metallica and Judas Priest and Rainbow and Triumph and stuff like that.
Great music.
Triumph is not necessarily the same as Metallica. But there are certain songs in Metallica that peel it back a little bit. That's not Motorhead. So I never know if I should be saying Metallica is heavy metal or if they're hard rock. Is AC/DC heavy metal or hard rock? Right? What's the difference? I suppose it's a very shallow definition. Like Rush is rock and roll. I like Rush. And their new drummer, that female drummer was unbelievable. If you saw videos of it. But is it rock and roll? Is it hard rock? Some of it's hard rock. Working Man is a hard rock song. So sometimes I gotta figure out where that line is. But yeah, I would say overall, I've listened to some of it and I like some of it.
All right.
Excuse me.
Means we're getting there. 5 out of 6 here. When you take a vacation, does it start right when work ends or when you get to the destination? Know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I do. That's a really good question. Probably when I arrive at the destination, because on my way to the destination, sometimes I'm either doing work or thinking about it.
That's fair. Yeah.
Which is probably unhealthy.
That's probably different though with our line of work compared to other people. So I feel like
Right.
you sometimes it really doesn't end. So yeah.
Try doing that. If you miss a week of sports, try coming back and
Right,
talking about it. It's not an easy thing. All right, last one.
All right, yeah, last one here. Favorite meal you've ever had on an airplane, and if you never had a meal on an airplane, favorite snack they give out on an airplane.
I don't like those cookies that Delta gives out, so I'm not going there.
People
I have had.
have good, interesting opinions on it.
Are we talking about commercial airplanes?
Yeah, like if you've
'Cause I've
had like
been
a really
spoiled.
good meal on a plane, yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, I can't say that I have. So I've been on private planes. I've been on team planes where you order your meal. That's completely different. You're talking about something. Best snack? Geez, oh Pete, man. I mean, I don't know. Do they even give snacks anymore?
Yes, some of them do it, like the Delta flights do and stuff. But me, I fly like Allegiant and stuff a lot because it's cheaper and you get to buy stuff on those.
But the snacks are either goldfish, sun chips, peanuts, or pretzels.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
For me, it'd probably be peanuts.
Okay, sounds good. Well, that'll
Okay.
wrap it up for the Friday six pack. So.
All right, that's it for the Friday six pack. Yeah, brought to you by our friends at Garage Beer. On the backside here, we'll talk a little bit more about the Lions and the ending of OTAs. And I would say real quick, one of the more disappointing athletes in recent memory. I don't know if I was fooled by him, but we'll talk about it when we come back here on X's and Bros. Glad you're with us on a Friday morning, brought to you this hour by our friends at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Farrah's Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Farrah's Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee.
Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, two world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece.
Coming up later today at 3 on the Huge Show on the Michigan Sports Network, I'll deliver huge opinions on everything you're talking about.
wants to do it right. He tries to do what you asked him to do, what he's coached to do. It's just it's early, and there's things he learns every day, and look, even for not being there again, that physical aspect of this for pads, they don't, that D-line doesn't cut him really any slack either. So whoever lines up over him is trying to, they that's kind of part of it. So went through it a little bit. Hutch went through it a little bit. They just kind of all want their, not in a bad way, but so he's learning, and as long as he continues to grow and just, take these small steps every day, he'll be fine.
Dan Campbell on Blake Miller, his first-round pick, the right tackle. We'll see if he ends up being the starting right tackle. It's for some, if you listen to some national people, they'll say it's a bit of a concern. The right side of Detroit's offensive line, a little bit of a concern for some people. Look, damned if you do on either tackle side. If you would have drafted a left tackle, Monroe Freeling, for example, which is the guy that I wanted after the guard out of Penn State. But Monroe Freeling, if he's your left tackle, he's alongside who? Christian Mahogany? Miles Frazier? I don't know. I like Miles Frazier. We'll see what happens with that. I'm anxious to see what kind of battle that is at the left guard position. But let's just say you had a rookie at the left side. That would be a left side that might need some getting used to. They might need some reps. All right. Right side, you got a second-year guard, and now you got a rookie right tackle if all goes well. How much time will that take for them to adjust to one another? It's a good debate. Welcome back. Final segment here on X's and Bros on this Friday. This hour brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, and we're brought to you this hour by Garage Beer as well. Tigers win a third straight series. They blow out the Twins 11-0. They had 6 homers. So that's kind of cool. Tarek Skubal will be back on the mound Saturday in Cleveland. Casey Mize will be back the following day. Javier Baez transferred to the 60-day IL. They've claimed outfielder James Outman off waivers from Minnesota. Carolina doubled up Vegas 4-2 last night. Evgeny Svechnikov scored a couple of power play goals. They're up 3-2. Brandon Bussey made 23 saves for the win. What a great story.
The Bronco.
Out of Western Michigan. Yeah, he's a Western Michigan grad. Never drafted, played 111 AHL games, claimed off waivers, played his first career NHL game in October, went 53 days without playing a game. He's the first goalie to ever have his first 2 playoff starts in a Stanley Cup Finals and win them both. It's an amazing story. Amazing story of what has been a really fun sports year, I think, when you get Indiana football. We've brought up Eastern Michigan women's golf, doing what they've done. I mean, those are a lot of firsts, a lot of cool stuff going on. And Carolina's offense has scored at least 4 goals in every single game, by the way. That's how good their offense is in the Stanley Cup Finals. They are the second team in Stanley Cup Finals history to score 4 goals or more in each of their first 5 games. Even in their losses, the first 2 games, the first game they lost 5-4. Then they won 4-3. Then they lost 5-4. Then they won 5-3, and then they won 4-2. Who's the other team? The 1973 Montreal Canadiens. Guy Lafleur and company. Yeah, 1973 Montreal Canadiens.
That's impressive. I mean, like, to be able to break or tie that record, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is nuts.
Carolina is a really good team, though, man. They're really, really good.
The winner of Game 5, just so you know, in case you were thinking about this for a daily wager, the percentage of times the Game 5 winner has won the Stanley Cup in a best-of-7 series, that's key, best-of-7, 74%. That's why it was so important last night.
Huge.
Perhaps. Okay? So that's huge. Let's see. The Nikita Kucherov wins his second Hart Trophy, beat out Connor McDavid by 10 points. And Game 5 of the NBA Finals is Toronto and San Antonio. The Spurs needing a win to stay alive. Here's the Mitch Lions Well poll question of the day, and we'll get to the results from yesterday after a moment. Will the next 10 games for the Tigers, Cleveland, Houston, Chicago, decide the season? Yes or no? You can vote as often as you want at XB Mornings or at Shep Matt. I've retweeted out what Andy's tweeted out, and we'll give you the results on Monday. Speaking of poll questions, Yesterday, we asked you this. Who do you blame more for the Red Wings drama? Is it Dylan Larkin or Steve Yzerman?
What
What did people say?
Split right down the middle at 50-50. And I think that's why this has been talked about so much. And I think it's why it's such a topic that everybody wants to hear about, because everybody wants to pick a side right now. And it's two big names in Detroit. And it doesn't surprise me that it's that close, honestly, with everything I've heard.
Yeah, when I retweeted that, and thank you for doing that so early, Andy does a great job with that. I got somebody sending me a tweet saying, Shep, I think it's more complicated than the question implies. Blame has to be shared equally by Steve, Dylan, and Chris Ilitch. Steve saw leadership potential and chose Dylan to wear the C. Now they don't speak. Chris needs to step in and say, fix this now.
That is a very interesting take on it, for sure. Like, I wonder if he did try, probably not. I wonder if he did try to get in the way of that.
Yeah, I doubt he would do that. Why do we think that would work?
I don't know.
You're not going to change people's feelings. Okay. A lot would have to change in order for you to change their feelings. One person coming in and saying, you've got to do this in order for you guys to coexist. I want this done. You guys figure it out. Do you think suddenly Steve's going to say, yeah, you're right? I mean, 2 years ago when you threw me under the bus, it doesn't matter. And Dylan's going to say, yeah, you're right. I remember when you counteracted and said, I need to do more in March and April. So
yeah, like these are
let's let bygones be bygones.
I get it. Like it's like their kids in a classroom arguing like that through the media instead of talking to each other. But like, this isn't like a teacher in a class being able to, take 2 second-grade kids and be like, okay, you guys need to figure this out. Like, they're adults. Like, I don't know what Chris, I don't think he would really be the person trying to do that, but
yeah, it's, I just don't think that works. And it's really too bad it's come to this.
But it is a very interesting. I like that text a lot. Like, I didn't think about that at all. If he did try to say anything or not. But
yeah, again, I would find it hard to believe that he would. I might bring Dylan Larkin in and say, what is it you're frustrated with? If we were able to appease you, how much would that help? Because I want to go out and get free agents and I want to make some trades and so on and so forth. It doesn't matter right now, Andy.
Yeah.
Once it's out, it's out. And because it's out, it's gonna live with you for as long as you can imagine. It's funny. Somebody tweeted this out yesterday, and I think it's a really good point. Remember earlier in the year when Sergei Fedorov's number rose to the rafters?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Dylan Larkin was there.
Yep, sure was.
Do you remember part of what Sergei Fedorov said?
Talking about leaving and regretting it, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if Dylan.
I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with that? The part you brought up about the free agents, and now that he has said it, it doesn't really matter if they did try to bring him back. Like, it's out there. But I know they weren't talking apparently, or weren't saying much to each other. But I would hope they at least had some kind of conversation, before he requested the trade. Like, I was hoping that maybe, they did have the conversation at least about the offseason beforehand. But who knows if they did or didn't.
Well, I don't know if Yzerman feels that way, that players have to be involved.
Probably not.
Because he probably wasn't involved. Scotty Bowman and Ken Holland probably didn't say, hey, Steve, we're going to go get this guy. Do you want him? It's a different era.
Yeah.
Right? Connor Hellebuyck supposedly has asked for a trade out of Winnipeg. Supposedly. Okay? Matthew Tkachuk did it with the Calgary. There are other players considering it, right? Daniel Nurse is doing that with Edmonton. He wants out. Where will he go? There's a couple of teams. The problem is those teams don't have, he may want to go to a place like Florida. What does Florida have? Besides the number 9 pick overall to sit there in front of the Red Wings' noses and say, come on, let's do this. Are you going to get Charlie Stramel from Michigan State and a goalie you could have had, Jasper Wallstedt, and think that that's good enough for Larkin and Kosa, for example, who was taken after Wallstedt? Probably not. I keep hearing that Utah is a team that has enough in their chamber to get it done. Is that one of the teams? Probably not. I've said this from the get-go. Dallas, if Dallas were a team, and Jim Nill and the association with Dylan Larkin, Jason Robertson, who's a prolific goal scorer, he would be a good fit in Detroit, and he played his Little League hockey here. I don't know if that matters as much. I used to think it mattered. I don't think it matters anymore. If a guy from Waterford who played at the University of Michigan and the National Team Development Program, was the captain of the Red Wings and Original 16, the team he grew up rooting for, if he can get the hell out of here and not want to play here, what makes us think a kid who played Little Caesars hockey or Bell Tire would want to come back here? What difference does it make? You can always live where you want. I hope it's not based on that. Otherwise, Cade Cunningham's going to Dallas sometime soon, right? I hope not. Anyway, yeah. So that's kind of how we're looking.
Yeah.
How realistic are the trading partners? It's fine. You can give a list all you want. The difference is those teams have to have the capital to give back of what your organization expects. Florida doesn't have that. And I wouldn't even do, if you're looking at the number 9 overall pick, do you even know who the number 9 pick is? I have no idea.
No clue. And I mean, they wouldn't really expect you to in the draft like hockey.
And can you really expect that person to come in and make an impact similar to that of what Dylan Larkin is leaving? You may be pissed off at him. You may not like him. You may boo him the first time he comes back to Little Caesars Arena. But what he did give you in each of the last 4 years is 30 goals or more. Are you getting somebody back like that? Probably not.
I think most people recognize he's a good player. I mean, you can't. I don't know how you would.
Come on, you don't make an Olympic team if you're just a good
exactly,
player.
Man.
Okay,
like, come on.
He's much better than a good player.
Like they're losing a lot there. That's why I think most people's main concern is that they have to get like NHL talent back in this trade. Otherwise, you're rebuilding again.
Right. So I would ask you this, and I'm the one who brought it up, so it's more on me than anything else. If you're the Dallas Stars, are you really going Robertson for Larkin straight up when Robertson this year had 96 points, had 90 points, had 109 points earlier in his Dallas career? His goals, 41, 46, 29, 35, 45. That blows away what Dylan.
I mean,
Larkin's
the only thing you would say about maybe Dylan's a better two-way player.
For sure, Dylan's a better two-way player.
That's what it's
got
to be.
In fairness, they play a different position.
Right.
Jason Robertson's a left winger.
Yep.
Dylan Larkin's a center. And this team, we've said this, they lack a number 2 center.
I was going to say,
let alone a number 1 center.
It'd be great if they got him back in a trade like that. Obviously, I mean
it would be really good.
It'd be awesome if that happened. Mm-hmm. But you still would have to figure out something at center. I mean, you couldn't just go in with that.
Yeah, and I don't even know if you have that within your system.
Exactly, that's the problem.
But you would get a younger player and a more productive offensive player.
I like
he's responsible defensively. No, it doesn't.
I like Nate Danielson, but if that's your best option, like down there right now to come up and play, come on, that's not. I mean, especially the injuries he's had and stuff, you can't expect that. So
you can like him all you want. That's fine. He has given you absolutely zero indication that he has that type of impact ability.
Exactly. Like it's just not.
Zero.
I mean, it's again replacing Dylan Larkin is going to have to happen like somehow, or you're not going to be competing regardless.
Yeah. And by the way, Jason Robertson this year, a +22.
Yeah, he's a really good player, man.
Yeah, really good player. But again, not that helps to have better players on the ice with you. All right. Speaking of a really good player, but Phil Mickelson's been one of the more disappointing athletes of my lifetime. I'm sure you saw this and what happened.
Did see that, yeah.
But you just shake your head. You know, the gambling is one thing. I don't like it, but thousands and thousands of dollars. He's got the money. He can do it. Whatever. Who cares? Do you play for greenies on the golf course? Par 3s, folks. Okay. So these guys, he happens to play for a lot of money. Michael Jordan played for a lot of money when he played with Tiger Woods and others. Now we've found out that Phil Mickelson, who's belonged to the Farms Golf Club in Rancho Santa Fe, California, where he's belonged there for a long, long time and practiced, has been kicked out of that club amid allegations that he had an incident with a female employee, according to Golf Digest, made non-consensual and inappropriate physical contact. He did this reportedly before the round, went out, started to play. They pulled him off the course, literally pulled him off the course. A lot of times people have always thought he's a phony, and I try to stick up for him.
I feel like people have used that word a lot about him.
Yeah, they have. Right. Here's the only thing I would say. There's a statement from the sheriff's office. If you dig a little bit deeper into this, okay, the San Diego County Sheriff's Office has confirmed that they are investigating the incident. They've also said this. They've made, their words now, made an attempt to locate any evidence to support the potential allegation of a sexual assault, but said at this time, we have not located any evidence to show an assault has occurred. We are pretty quick to judge in our society. If you don't judge, you're late. If you do judge and you're wrong, you can just hide the fact that, well, you don't remember what I said 2 weeks ago anyway, which is unfortunate. I'm not going to try and stick up for him, because if it's true what happened, then obviously he's a pig and you wouldn't want him at your facility. It's another incident where some people who think they're above everything else. But the negative publicity around him, I wonder how much it tarnishes if his image isn't already tarnished already. He's not getting back on the PGA Tour because of all the things that he did and said. There is no live tour after this year. And this is a guy who's not going to be invited to the Tiger Woods, golf event indoors on ESPN either. Is it really worth it? The answer, Phil, is absolutely not. Control yourself. Let's get to the daily wager. It's brought to you by our friends at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort and their sportsbook Ascend, which would be a really good place for you to start watching the Tigers this weekend. Watch a little NBA Finals tomorrow. Watch the Stanley Cup Finals in Game 6 on Saturday. It's Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, their sportsbook Ascend, inside that wonderful facility. How'd you do yesterday? Did you stay perfect for the week?
It's unfortunate I didn't. It's funny you talk about all those goals for Carolina. Yeah. I needed one of those empty netters to go in there at the end because it's 4-2. I picked over 6.5 goals, and they got 6 goals. So
I was thinking about you last night.
Yep.
I thought it was 6. 6 or over. You had over 6.5.
It was plus money. Okay. They've hit it every game so far this series until that. So tough miss there, but tonight is simple. I'm keeping it really easy. Again, we talked about this earlier in the show. I don't know a lot about soccer. I'm taking the USA plus 110 to win. So they're favorites in the group play. I feel like they got to win a game in the group play. I'm taking them one of the favorites.
How good are they?
I mean, they're probably not great, but they are favorited over the team they're playing. So I feel there's any night you're going to take them, this is the one to take them.
Well, aren't they playing Paraguay?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I'm no expert on soccer, but I mean, Paraguay, come on. Team USA better win.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I hope so. But I mean, you're getting plus money to take them. I feel like this is the time to take them. That's just how I look at it. But
okay. I get it. All right. The number one FIFA ranked team has never won the World Cup. I don't know if you're aware of that.
That is crazy. I did not know that. Is Spain the favorite, right?
Yeah. Or is it Spain or Mexico?
I can't remember, but I thought it was Spain, but
yeah. Okay. I thought it was one of the two. What do I care? Thanks to Andy. Thanks to you for giving us a chance on a Friday. We're back with you Monday morning. Have a great weekend, everybody. And don't forget the huge show later today from 3 until 7.
Hey, West Michigan, Mitch Lyons here. You've heard about our support of Tiger legend Kirk Gibson